So today I'm going to show you how to log into Formatives. You go to formative.com, go ahead and create an account. You're going to create a student account. Your teacher will give you a 6-digit code. I'm not going to show you my code here because I don't want everyone to log into my class account. But you're going to put in the code and your teacher's name should come up. You have your choice to either put in an email or sign in with Google. I prefer to sign in with Google, but there's nothing wrong with doing an email and a password. When you put in your name, this is the name that your teacher's going to see, so don't put in some crazy nickname. And then you pull up. This class has been open for a while, so there's a lot of formatives there. It's almost the end of our school year. So when you start in, you will not have this many formatives probably on your first class. Each of these line items is a formative or an assignment. On the right side of the screen, you're going to see some blue and then some red. The blue are assignments that are open and are available. The red ones are been closed. A teacher may choose to close a formative. Once it's closed, you can go back and see the questions and your answers. You just cannot edit them. So I'm going to click on an open one to show you some of the types of questions and answers that you're going to see in a formative. So this first question you see here is a matching question. You have key terms and you're going to be matching them to the definition. It kind of tricks people because you're going to be clicking on the key term until you see a little plus sign come up when you put your cursor over it. When you push on that, you're going to be able to move the terms up or down until you get them in the correct order. This sometimes takes a minute, but it's pretty simple to figure out once you've done it. I'm going to keep scrolling down and show you some more different options. The second one is also a matching. And you're going to see on question number 3, you have a free response box. It's just a text box where you type in your answer. You also are going to have some circles, multiple choice. When there's a circle, you can just click 1. I'm going to scroll down and you're going to see a question that instead of having circles next to the multiple choice, it has squares. Those are questions that are multiple selections, which means you can actually select more than one answer for those questions. Keep going down here on this formative. It has some that have a show your work box. You're going to see that. I use these for math problems. In the show your work box, there is still the part where you can type your answer, but then there's also this little section that you're going to click on where it's blue and it says show your work. When you click on it, it opens up to this screen. At this screen, you can either choose, it said add an image or you can draw. If you add an image, if you're using your phone or an iPod, you can take a picture of your work and upload a picture, and I'll show you what that looks like later. Or you can go to the left-hand side of the screen and click on a T for text, and you can use this text tool to type. It's usually not going to be words, though. It's going to be math in my class. There's also this scribble feature where you can go on and click and you get like a cursor where you can write. I'm trying to do this here with my mouse. I'm actually having a really hard time with it. I know some of my students would do it from a tablet and it would come by a lot neater, but for the most part, it is really hard to use this tool. There's also a tool where you can make different shapes, you can change the colors, you can make a line, you can erase it. This is a math feature tool, and it has some different symbols that you don't always have on your normal keyboard. And so if you're doing math equations, it's kind of fun to use this. It makes it a little bit neater than using the stylus. Now, it's not a calculator, so it doesn't like solve the problem for you, but it does add it to here. So now I'm going to enlarge this, so there is a possibility if you want a bigger screen to show your work, you can make it bigger. And when you're done, you're going to go up and you're going to hit the check box. And that's what your teacher is going to see. They're going to see the show your work. And I'll show you the exact teacher's view in a minute. So when you're done, you're going to come down here and you're going to hit submit. For my class, normally after you've hit submit, you will get a grade. The grade will actually be lower than your real grade because there will be a lot of times where you may have rounded different than I did, or you may have reported to the different types of significant figures in your math answers. I'll go back and I'll read that and I'll add back points to your grade. So I've logged out of the student screen and I've gone into the teacher screen here. On the left-hand side are all my students. I've hidden their names so you don't know who they are. But green are assignments that they've done successfully or like questions on this assignment, and red is when they've struggled. So on this student here where it says hidden name and they've only gotten 8% right, this is the one that I just took as the student. As you can see, there's a lot of red because I didn't answer all the questions. But as a teacher, I go through here and I can see what your different answers are. A gray is just one that the teacher needs to read over. And then there's also, you'll see some blue marks. Those are where I have sent comments back to my students, and they have also commented back to me. We will frequently communicate back and forth this way. So here is the problem that I just submitted. Say I submitted it to the teacher and the teacher wants to make a comment. I, as the teacher, will frequently come in and comment either in purple or red, and I will text on to the show your work section and maybe circle or highlight anything that's incorrect or anything that you need to make some corrections to. And then I'll add it to your formative so that when you go back in to check your grade, you will actually see my comments and you will be able to make corrections and comment back. So now I'm going to show you a question that my students answered, and they all answered it differently, so I wanted to show you some different ways of putting in information. This student just did their work on a piece of paper, and in the show your work section, they added a photo of their work because they preferred to work on paper. But you're also going to see some other students that used the text tool, and they typed in their math problems. This one has a red exclamation mark above it where it tells you that part of this answer was copied and pasted, and that is actually a feature of Formative that I do really like, where Formative will tell me if a student has copied or pasted. This student, though, usually copies and pastes out of their calculator, and I can go in and see that they just copied and pasted a number. Over here we have a student that used different colors in their text when they sent it in, and some more photos. It doesn't matter to me which way you submit it as a photo or if you text it, as long as it's like I can read it and I can easily see what's going on. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to go out of here now that you've seen some different ways of submitting your work. And this is just what the teacher's page looks like, where you can see the different assignments and everything. So I'm going to log out and I'm going to log back into the student one so you can see that comment. So as you're a student and you log in, at the top right you see a bell and it has a notification with a little red circle above it. That's how you know I've made a comment. And if you clicked on it, it would take you to the comment that I added. And so we're going to come through here and we're going to see what note I commented back to you on. And you can see it at the top too. There's a little symbol there. I'm going to scroll through and find it. And it should have the picture that I edited on my screen as a note. And it's right there. You would just click on it and you can see where I just wrote teacher text back notes. Now, if you have another question about that, you can keep communicating and we can have a conversation back and forth about the different assignments. And so I hope this gave you a good guess of how I want you to be submitting your work on Formative. When you're done, you just simply log out. And that is how we're going to answer our questions and submit using this application this year.